Admiral Ralph watched the blue planet grow larger on his display screen. 40 years of conquest had taught him to recognize fear in primitive species. Earth would be no different. His 300 warships filled the space around the planet like predators circling wounded prey. The Dominion Empire had crushed stronger civilizations than this fractured world of arguing nations. His second officer approached with updated scans. The primitive technology readings confirmed what Ralph already knew. Nuclear weapons, chemical propulsion, scattered satellites that could barely reach their own moon. These humans had not even unified their planet under one government. They fought each other over invisible lines on maps and ancient grudges. Ralph activated the communication array. His message would broadcast in every language these primitives spoke. The translation matrix had processed over 6,000 different tongues from this one planet. Such division made conquest simple. Divided enemies never united fast enough to matter. The holographic display activated across Earth's networks. Ralph's image appeared on every screen capable of receiving signals. His form towered over human cities, a projection of absolute power. He spoke the words he had delivered to 40 worlds before this one. Your world now belongs to the Dominion Empire. Resistance is extinction. Surrender is survival. You have 72 hours to disarm all weapons and prepare for integration. Those who comply will be allowed to continue existence under Dominion authority. Those who resist will be eliminated along with their cities. Ralph showed them recordings from other conquered worlds. Great cities reduced to ash. Armies scattered like insects. Leaders who had refused now served as cautionary examples preserved in stasis fields. The message was clear and had never failed before. Deep beneath the surface of Earth's oceans, systems older than Ralph's empire came to life. The Mariana Trench concealed more than crushing pressure and strange fish. Installation 7 had waited 50 years for this moment. Director Liu Wei watched the Dominion broadcast from a command center 7 miles below the Pacific surface. In Antarctica, beneath 3 miles of ice, General Patricia O'Brien stood in a facility that officially did not exist. The fusion reactors hummed with power that defied human science of 5 decades past. Technology reverse-engineered. From an ancient warning probe now prepared to defend the world that probe had chosen to protect. Across Earth, hidden systems activated in perfect synchronization. Quantum communication networks linked facilities that no satellite could detect. Orbital platforms disguised as space debris shed their camouflage protocols. Weapons that operated on principles the Dominion had never encountered charged their exotic matter cores. Ralph expected the usual response. Panic, desperate negotiations, internal fighting among various factions arguing about surrender terms. Instead, his communication officer reported something unprecedented. A single unified transmission from Earth directed specifically at his flagship. The human who appeared on his screen wore no military uniform. Ambassador David Cole sat in what looked like an ordinary office. His expression carried neither fear nor anger, only calm certainty. Your armada is impressive, Admiral. Your record of conquest is noted. However, you are making a critical error in judgment. You assume we are unprepared. You assume we are divided. You assume we are helpless. All 3 assumptions are incorrect. You have 24 hours to leave our system. This is your only warning. Ralph's officers erupted in outrage at such insolence. A primitive challenging the Dominion Empire, it was unthinkable. Ralph silenced them with a gesture. He had seen desperate bluffs before. Primitives always hoped their enemies would simply leave. It never worked. His science officer reported unusual energy signatures from multiple locations across Earth. Deep ocean sources, polar readings, orbital anomalies that sensors could not fully classify. Ralph dismissed the concern. Primitives often had experimental weapons they hoped would intimidate superior forces. Such toys broke against Dominion shields like waves against mountains. 20 hours later, Ralph decided to demonstrate the cost of defiance. He selected a major human city as target. New York, they called it. 8 million primitives crowded onto an island, their towers of glass and steel reaching pathetically toward space they could not truly access. One strike would shatter their false confidence. The battlecruiser Eternal Fist moved into firing position. Its main weapon charged, drawing power from reactors that could vaporize mountains. Targeting systems locked onto the dense population center. Ralph gave the order with the same indifference he had shown 40 times before. The energy beam lanced down toward Earth, carrying enough destructive force to crack the planet's crust. Then something impossible happened. The beam struck an invisible barrier 300 miles above the surface and deflected harmlessly into space. Energy readings spiked across Ralph's sensors as something beneath the Pacific Ocean came alive. Installation 7 fired its first shot in 50 years of waiting. The directed energy pulse crossed the distance between ocean floor and orbit in less than 1 second. The Eternal Fist, a battlecruiser 2 kilometers long and home to 5,000 Dominion warriors, simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris field, just a flash of light and empty space where a warship had been. Ralph stared at his tactical display in absolute silence. His officers frantically scanned the area where their sister ship had floated moments before. The sensors found nothing, not even molecular traces. The weapon that had destroyed the Eternal Fist had erased it from existence at a fundamental level. All across Earth's orbit, hidden platforms revealed themselves. Dozens of installations that had been invisible to Dominion scanners now burned with active power signatures. The energy readings defied everything Ralph knew about primitive civilizations. These weapons operated on principles his empire had never encountered. Ambassador Cole's face appeared on every Dominion ship's communication screen simultaneously. "You were warned, Admiral. Your ship fired first. Earth has defended itself. You now have one choice. Leave immediately or join your battlecruiser in oblivion. We take no pleasure in this, but we will not hesitate to protect our world." Ralph's hand moved toward the fleet-wide retreat command. Then pride and 40 years of unchallenged conquest stopped him. The Dominion Empire did not flee from primitives. He would not be the first admiral in Imperial history to retreat without even attempting battle. His legacy would not end in cowardice. He gave the order that sealed his fate and the fate of his entire armada. All ships, full assault, overwhelming force. Show these primitives the true power of the Dominion Empire. 299 warships moved as one, their weapons systems charging in perfect synchronization. Ralph watched his tactical display with growing confidence. Whatever trick these primitives possessed, it could not stand against the full might of a Dominion conquest fleet. One ship lost meant nothing against such overwhelming numbers. The first wave of 40 battlecruisers accelerated toward Earth's orbital space. Their orders were simple: suppress whatever defensive installations the primitives had revealed, clear the way for troop transports to begin landing operations. Ralph had executed this maneuver on dozens of worlds. It had never failed. Installation 7 detected the incoming wave before Dominion sensors registered the human response. Director Liu Wei watched the tactical projection in her deep ocean command center. 40 ships meant 40 targets. The automated defense grid required no hesitation, no moral struggle. The Dominion had attacked Earth. The response was predetermined. 12 orbital platforms fired simultaneously. The exotic matter weapons did not project beams or launch missiles. Instead, they created localized distortions in spacetime itself. The Dominion battlecruisers encountered regions where physics simply stopped cooperating. Molecular bonds dissolved, energy states collapsed, matter forgot how to exist in organized form. 17 ships vanished in the first 3 seconds. The remaining 23 scattered in panic, their formation discipline shattering like glass. Ralph screamed orders at his communication officer, demanding status reports from ships that no longer existed to provide them. His tactical display showed empty space where his first wave should have been regrouping. General O'Brien authorized the Antarctic facility to engage. The installation beneath 3 miles of ice contained weapons even more exotic than the orbital platforms. Quantum disruption cannons that targeted not ships themselves, but the fundamental forces holding them together. The 23 surviving battlecruisers from the first wave experienced catastrophic existence, failure across every deck simultaneously. Ralph counted the losses in his head with growing horror. 40 ships destroyed in under 20 seconds. 40 crews, over 200,000 Dominion warriors, simply erased from existence. No wreckage to recover, no bodies to honor, nothing but empty orbital space where his fleet had been. His second officer urged immediate retreat. The science officer babbled about technology that violated known physical laws. The weapons officer sat frozen at his console, unable to process what his sensors reported. Ralph ignored them all. Retreat would mean disgrace. Disgrace would mean execution. Either he conquered this world or died trying. He ordered the second wave forward. 100 ships this time, approaching from multiple vectors. The primitives could not possibly have enough of these reality-defying weapons to counter such numbers. Simple mathematics favored the Dominion, or so Ralph believed. Earth's defensive network had been designed by humans who understood something the Dominion did not. Preparation beat improvisation every time. 50 years of construction, testing, and training had created a system with no weak points and redundancy built into every layer. The ancient probe's gift had included not just weapons, but strategic doctrine. The second wave entered engagement range. Earth's response was immediate and comprehensive. Orbital platforms fired in sequence, each shot calculated for maximum efficiency. Underground installations on 6 continents added their firepower to the defense. Weapons hidden in desert facilities, mountain bunkers, and island bases all activated according to a plan rehearsed 10,000 times. The Dominion ships died in clusters. 5 here, 8 there, 12 more as they attempted to maneuver away. Their shields, designed to stop conventional energy weapons and kinetic projectiles, offered no protection against exotic matter that simply unmade the space the shields occupied. Their armor, forged from alloys that could withstand nuclear detonations, dissolved like sugar in water when quantum disruption touched it. Ralph watched 97 more ships disappear from his tactical display. 3 vessels from the second wave survived long enough to retreat beyond engagement range. His fleet, 300 ships strong just minutes before, now numbered 156. Half his armada gone in less than 5 minutes of combat. The surviving captains demanded withdrawal. The fleet admiral needed to acknowledge reality. These were not primitives. This was not a conquest. This was a slaughter, and they were the victims. Ralph heard their pleas and their logic. He rejected both. The Dominion Empire would not be humiliated by primitives. History would not record Admiral Ralph as the fool who fled from a world that had not even achieved faster-than-light travel. Pride and fear drove him equally. Pride in his record, fear of what? Awaited failed admirals in the Empire. He ordered every remaining ship to attack simultaneously. No waves, no tactics, just overwhelming force applied all at once. 156 warships diving toward Earth from every angle, weapons firing at maximum range, hoping that sheer volume of destruction would saturate whatever defenses these primitives possessed. Ambassador Cole watched the Dominion fleet's final assault from the secure facility in Geneva. His expression remained calm even as tactical officers reported the incoming wave. 50 years of preparation had led to this moment. Earth would demonstrate once, and for all that humanity was not prey. General O'Brien gave the authorization. All systems, full response, no restrictions. The command rippled through quantum communication networks at speeds that made light seem slow. Every defensive installation Earth possessed fired simultaneously. The sky above the planet lit up with energies that had not been seen in the galaxy for millions of years. The Dominion fleet encountered a wall of destruction that had no gaps and accepted no survivors. Ships trying to retreat found their hyperspace engines disabled by dimensional disruption fields. Ships attempting to maneuver discovered their navigation systems failing as localized gravity fluctuations made physics unpredictable. Ships that simply tried to survive found themselves targeted by weapons that erased them from multiple levels of reality simultaneously. Ralph's flagship, the Infinite Conquest, lasted longer than most. Its heavy shields and reinforced hull bought precious seconds. Ralph used those seconds to record a final message to Dominion High Command. A warning that would never be transmitted because Earth's jamming fields prevented any faster-than-light communication. The Admiral died still believing he had made the right choice. Pride was an expensive luxury, and Ralph paid for it with everything. High Counselor Draven studied the reports with increasing frustration. 300 ships had entered the Sol system 6 weeks ago. 300 ships had ceased all communication exactly 14 minutes after Admiral Ralph transmitted his standard conquest ultimatum. Now those 300 ships simply did not exist. The Dominion Empire had lost entire fleets before, but never like this. Ships destroyed in battle left wreckage. Ships captured in defeat sent distress signals. Ships lost to catastrophic failure scattered debris across star systems. The conquest fleet sent to subjugate Earth had left nothing. No wreckage, no signals, no evidence they had ever existed except for the records of their departure. Draven called his council together in the Chamber of Eternal Victory. The name felt bitter now. 15 military commanders and 20 senior officials gathered around the central display. The holographic projection showed the Sol system, a small yellow star surrounded by primitive planets that should have posed no threat to anyone. Fleet Commander Sillies presented his analysis. The energy signatures detected before communication ceased suggested weapons fire, but the power levels made no sense. The readings indicated technology that primitive civilizations should not possess. Either the sensors had malfunctioned across 300 ships simultaneously, or something impossible had occurred. Draven authorized a reconnaissance mission. 20 fast ships equipped with the Empire's best sensors would investigate the Sol system. Their orders were explicit. Observe only, engage nothing, retreat immediately if threatened. Whatever had destroyed Ralph's Armada, the Dominion needed to understand it before committing more resources. Commander Sillies volunteered to lead the mission personally. 40 years of service had taught him caution that younger officers lacked. He selected ships with minimal crews and maximum sensor capabilities. If these vessels also vanished, at least the loss of life would be limited. The fleet departed 3 days after Draven's authorization. Earth's long-range sensors detected the reconnaissance fleet while it was still 2 light-years away. The Silent Watch network had expanded its monitoring range after the Armada's destruction. Director Liu Wei brought the detection to the Global Space Council's attention immediately. Ambassador Cole argued for restraint. The approaching ships numbered only 20 and maintained cautious speeds. Their sensor activity suggested reconnaissance rather than attack preparation. Earth had demonstrated its defensive capability. Perhaps now was the time to demonstrate its willingness to communicate. General O'Brien disagreed. The Dominion had attacked without warning or provocation. They had targeted civilian population centers. Showing mercy to their reconnaissance fleet might be interpreted as weakness. The defensive network should destroy these ships as decisively as it had destroyed the Armada. The Council debated for 6 hours before reaching compromise. Earth would allow the reconnaissance fleet to approach. The defensive network would remain active but hold fire. If the Dominion ships made any hostile moves, the response would be immediate. If they simply observed and left, Earth would permit their departure. Sillies entered the Sol system with every sensor at maximum sensitivity. His science officers reported their findings with voices tight with stress. The orbital space around Earth showed residual energy signatures consistent with exotic matter weapons. Molecular traces of Dominion alloys floated in patterns suggesting total disintegration of massive structures. The primitive planet had somehow destroyed an entire conquest fleet. His tactical officer detected the defensive platforms. Dozens of installations positioned in perfect geometric patterns around Earth. Their power signatures registered higher than anything in the Dominion arsenal. Advanced sensors revealed more installations beneath the ocean, under ice sheets, hidden in mountain ranges. The primitives had built a defensive network that would challenge an entire sector fleet. Sillies made his decision quickly. He opened a direct communication channel to Earth, using every diplomatic protocol the Dominion possessed. His message was simple and honest. He came seeking understanding, not conflict. He wished to know what had happened to the conquest fleet. He promised no hostile action from his vessels. The response came from Ambassador Cole. The human appeared on Sillies' screen with the same calm expression he had shown Admiral Ralph. But this time the message was different. Earth would permit one small vessel to land at designated coordinates. Sillies could come personally to discuss what had occurred. His fleet would remain in position, weapons powered down, or Earth's defensive network would consider them hostile. Sillies accepted immediately. He selected a small shuttle and 2 unarmed officers to accompany him. His second-in-command received strict orders. If the fleet came under attack, retreat immediately. Do not attempt rescue. Get word back to Dominion space about what Earth possessed. The information was more valuable than Sillies' life. The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere toward Geneva. Sillies observed cities sprawling across the landscape, billions of primitives living in apparent peace. His sensors detected technology that should not exist on a world barely capable of reaching its own moon. The contradictions multiplied with every scan. The landing site was surrounded by visible defensive installations. Energy weapons tracked his shuttle's descent with perfect precision. Soldiers in advanced armor stood at attention around the perimeter. Sillies noticed that their weapons, while pointed at the ground, could be raised and fired in less than a second. These humans understood security. Ambassador Cole met him in a simple conference room. No throne room, no displays of power, just a table and chairs. The human gestured for Sillies to sit. Two guards stood at the door, their expressions professionally neutral. Cole dismissed the traditional diplomatic formalities and spoke directly. Your Admiral Ralph attacked our world without provocation. He targeted our cities. We defended ourselves. Every ship in his fleet was destroyed. The engagement lasted 14 minutes. We gave him warning. He chose to ignore it. These are the facts as they occurred. Sillies listened to the account of the battle. The human provided sensor logs, tactical recordings, communication transcripts. Everything supported the impossible narrative. Earth, a primitive world, had destroyed 300 Dominion warships in less time than it took to eat a meal. Cole then explained something Ralph had never learned. 50 years ago, Earth had discovered a probe from an extinct civilization. The probe contained warnings about galactic dangers and defensive technology far beyond anything the Dominion possessed. Humanity had spent 5 decades building a global defense network based on that ancient knowledge. Sillies understood the implications immediately. Earth was not primitive. Earth was protected by technology millions of years more advanced than the Dominions. Attacking this world was not conquest. It was suicide. Commander Sillies faced the most important decision of his career. Truth or deception, loyalty or survival. The Dominion High Command expected a full report on what had destroyed Admiral Ralph's fleet. The complete truth would trigger responses that would doom millions. He sat in his quarters aboard the flagship, staring at the preliminary report on his display. If he told Draven that primitives possessed ancient technology, the High Counselor would launch a sector-wide assault. Pride would demand it. The Dominion could not allow such a challenge to exist. They would send 10,000 ships, maybe more. Earth would destroy them all. Sillies had seen the defensive network's capabilities. He had studied the energy signatures and analyzed the battle recordings. No conventional force could overcome such technology. The Dominion would throw army after army at Earth until the Empire exhausted itself, all because pride prevented accepting reality. His science officer entered with additional analysis. The exotic matter weapons Earth possessed operated on principles that violated established physics. The quantum disruption technology suggested understanding of dimensional mechanics the Dominion had never achieved. Attempting to counter such weapons with conventional forces would be like fighting fusion reactors with wooden clubs. Sillies made his choice. He would lie to save the Dominion from its own arrogance. The report he composed described a catastrophic malfunction in Ralph's fleet, a cascade failure in the hyperspace engines that created unstable spatial anomalies. Pure fiction, but fiction that fit available evidence if examined superficially. He classified the Sol system as hazardous and recommended permanent avoidance. The report reached Draven 3 weeks later. The High Counselor reviewed it with his senior staff. The explanation satisfied most of them. Fleet malfunctions, while rare, did occur. Losing an entire armada to such an event was unprecedented but not theoretically impossible. The Council accepted Sillies' recommendation and marked the Sol system as forbidden territory. Intelligence Officer Collies was not convinced. He reviewed the report multiple times, searching for inconsistencies. The energy signatures did not match hyperspace malfunctions. The pattern of ship disappearances suggested coordinated weapon strikes, not random system failures. Sillies was hiding something, and Collies wanted to know why. Rather than expose Sillies publicly, Collies saw opportunity. If Earth truly possessed advanced technology, that knowledge had value. The right buyer would pay extraordinary amounts for information about an isolated world with ancient defenses. The Krill Syndicate dealt in exactly such opportunities. Collies made contact through encrypted channels. The Krill operated outside Dominion law, but they were efficient and discreet. He offered them coordinates to a primitive world, protected by salvageable ancient technology. The price was high enough to fund his retirement to a pleasure world far from Dominion politics. The Krill Council reviewed the information with interest. Ancient technology commanded premium prices across the galaxy. If this primitive world could be raided successfully, the profits would be substantial. They assembled a fleet of 40 vessels, mixing fast raiders with heavy assault ships. Enough force to overwhelm primitive defenses, not enough to attract unwanted attention. Earth's long-range sensors detected the Krill fleet assembling in a system 60 light-years away. The quantum interceptor network decoded their communications with ease. Silent Watch analyzed their plans and capabilities within hours of the initial detection. General O'Brien presented the findings to the Global Space Council. Pirates and mercenaries were approaching with intent to steal Earth's technology. Unlike the Dominion, these raiders had no political constraints. They would kill anyone who resisted and strip the planet of anything valuable. Ambassador Cole studied the Krill fleet composition. 40 ships against Earth's full defensive network was not a fair fight. The raiders would die as quickly as the Dominion Armada had. But perhaps there was an alternative approach. Earth needed information about the broader galaxy. 40 ships full of prisoners could provide that information. Director Liu Wei proposed a new strategy. Instead of destroying the Krill fleet, Earth would disable it. New weapons had been tested in the past weeks, electromagnetic pulse systems that could shut down ship systems without destroying the vessels themselves. The technology was tricky, requiring precise calibration, but it offered options beyond simple destruction. The Council authorized the plan. The Krill would be allowed to enter the Sol system. They would be permitted to approach Earth orbit. Then the defensive network would demonstrate that humanity had learned to show mercy to pirates even while defeating them decisively. The Krill fleet emerged from hyperspace exactly where Earth's calculations predicted. 40 ships spread across orbital approach vectors, their weapons already charged for atmospheric bombardment. The raider commanders coordinated their attack through standard criminal channels, planning to strike technology storage sites identified from the Dominion sensor data collies had provided. Installation 7 and its sister facilities activated the electromagnetic pulse cascades. The weapons created overlapping fields of precisely tuned energy that targeted electronic systems while leaving organic life unharmed. Every Krill ship lost power simultaneously. Engines shut down, weapons went offline, life support switched to emergency backups. 40 vessels hung dead in space around Earth. Their crews found themselves drifting in orbit, unable to maneuver or escape, but alive and unharmed. Confusion filled the communication channels as raiders tried to understand what had happened. They had prepared for battle, not for this strange form of defeat. Earth recovery teams launched from orbital stations. Shuttles approached each disabled vessel, magnetic grapples securing them for towing. The raiders expected execution or torture. Instead, human soldiers boarded their ships with medical supplies and temporary power generators. Life support was stabilized, injured crew members received treatment, food and water were distributed to vessels that had exhausted their emergency supplies. The 3,000 raiders and mercenaries found themselves prisoners of a species they had come to exploit. They were transferred to hastily constructed detention facilities that met standards most pirates had never experienced. Clean cells, adequate food, medical care, and treatment consistent with galactic conventions for prisoners of war. Interrogations began immediately. Earth's intelligence services needed information, and 3,000 prisoners provided diverse perspectives. The questions focused on galactic politics, trade routes, power structures, and the locations of various civilizations. The prisoners, treated far better than they had expected, answered with surprising honesty. Humanity learned that the galaxy contained thousands of civilizations at various development levels. The Dominion was powerful but not supreme. The Republic opposed Dominion expansion through diplomacy and selective military action. The Trade Confederation remained neutral, profiting from all sides. Dozens of independent civilizations existed in the spaces between major powers. Most importantly, the interrogations revealed that ancient technology was extraordinarily rare. The probe Earth had discovered represented a treasure that would make the planet a target for every power-hungry faction in the galaxy. Isolation was no longer possible. Earth would have to engage with galactic civilization on its own terms or be overwhelmed by those seeking to possess what humanity now protected. The Global Space Council convened in emergency session for the third time in 2 months. Ambassador Cole addressed the assembled representatives from every nation on Earth. The question before them was simple in words but complex in implications. How should humanity engage with the galaxy? Dr. Ryan Foster spoke first. The physicist had spent his career studying the ancient probe's technology. He argued that Earth's greatest strength was not the weapons they had built, but the knowledge they possessed. Sharing that knowledge with peaceful civilizations could prevent wars and foster alliances. Hoarding it would make Earth a target for every ambitious power in the galaxy. General O'Brien countered immediately. Earth's defensive advantage existed precisely because others lacked the technology. Sharing advanced weapons would eliminate the protection that had saved the planet twice already. Once the galaxy knew Earth's secrets, nothing would prevent larger coalitions from attempting to seize control by force. Director Liu Wei proposed a middle path. Earth could reveal itself to the galaxy but maintain control over the most sensitive technologies. Share some knowledge to build goodwill, keep the truly dangerous capabilities classified. Offer defensive assistance to civilizations threatened by aggressive expansion, but never provide the means for others to threaten Earth in return. Ambassador Cole synthesized the various positions into a coherent policy. Earth would emerge as an active participant in galactic affairs. The planet would announce its existence and capabilities openly. Diplomatic relations would be established with peaceful civilizations. Military assistance would be offered to those facing existential threats. But the core technology, the exotic matter weapons and quantum disruption systems, would remain exclusively human. The vote was unanimous. Earth's age of isolation had ended not by choice but by necessity. The planet would face the galaxy with strength tempered by wisdom, ready to defend itself and willing to help others, but never naive enough to surrender the advantages that had preserved its freedom. The announcement went out through channels the Krill prisoners had identified. Earth transmitted across standard galactic frequencies, ensuring every major civilization would receive the message. Ambassador Cole delivered it personally, his image broadcast across light years of space. We are humanity of Earth. We have defended our world against unprovoked aggression. We seek peaceful relations with all civilizations that respect our sovereignty. We offer friendship to those who approach us with honest intentions. We promise swift justice to those who threaten our people or our allies. We are ready to take our place among the civilizations of the galaxy. The responses came quickly. The Republic sent a diplomatic delegation within days, their ships arriving with proper advance notice and peaceful intentions. Ambassador Cole met them at the newly constructed orbital platform above Earth's moon. The Republic representatives expressed admiration for how such a young civilization had preserved its independence. The Trade Confederation dispatched merchant envoys eager to establish economic relationships. They offered access to galactic markets in exchange for limited technology sharing. Earth negotiated carefully, trading some basic scientific knowledge for information about galactic economics and trade routes. Neither side trusted the other completely, but both recognized mutual benefit. The Dominion maintained official silence. High Counselor Draven refused to acknowledge Earth's existence publicly. Privately, he ordered all Dominion vessels to avoid the Sol system. Pride prevented admission of defeat, but pragmatism prevented further losses. The Empire watched and waited, hoping time would provide opportunities that force had not. Smaller civilizations responded with everything from curiosity to fear. Some saw Earth as potential protector against aggressive neighbors. Others worried that another powerful civilization would disrupt existing balances. Most simply wanted to understand how primitives had achieved such technological advancement so rapidly. Commander Sillies watched these developments from Dominion space. His false report had prevented immediate catastrophe, but the truth was emerging anyway. Earth's public announcement changed the situation fundamentally. He contacted Ambassador Cole through encrypted channels, establishing a back-channel communication that both their governments would officially deny. Their conversations covered galactic politics, potential threats, and opportunities for cooperation. Sillies believed the Dominion's aggressive expansion would eventually destroy the Empire. Earth represented an alternative model, strength used for defense rather than conquest. He began passing information about Dominion military movements, helping Earth understand the broader strategic situation. 6 months after the Armada's destruction, Earth launched its first starship of human design. The vessel incorporated technology from the ancient probe, innovations developed by human engineers, and systems traded from the Republic and Confederation. It was not the largest ship in the galaxy or the fastest, but it represented humanity's commitment to exploring and engaging with the wider universe. The crew of 70 included scientists, diplomats, soldiers, and engineers. Their mission was part exploration, part diplomacy, part intelligence gathering. They would visit systems the ancient probe had identified, make contact with civilizations willing to meet them, and learn everything possible about humanity's new neighbors. General O'Brien commanded Earth's expanding space force from the lunar orbital platform. Silent Watch had transformed from a secret defensive network into a legitimate military organization. Training programs produced the first generation of human spacefarers. Engineers worked on next-generation vessels. Scientists pushed the boundaries of the ancient technology, seeking to understand rather than simply utilize it. Director Liu Wei focused on a different challenge. The ancient probe had included coordinates to its creator's homeworld. Preliminary scans suggested the civilization had been extinct for millions of years, but their ruins might contain additional knowledge or technology. The decision to mount an expedition to that distant world generated intense debate. Some argued humanity should honor the extinction of the probe's creators by leaving their ruins undisturbed. Others insisted the probe had been given freely, implying permission to seek more knowledge. The question remained unresolved, tabled for future consideration when Earth had more resources and better understanding of galactic archaeology. The Krill prisoners presented an unexpected opportunity. After months of detention, many expressed interest in remaining on Earth. Life as a pirate offered brief excitement followed by violent death. Life as a civilian on a world protected by invincible defenses offered something the raiders had never experienced: safety. Earth cautiously accepted volunteers who genuinely wanted to reform, creating the first permanent alien population on the planet. These former pirates became teachers, sharing knowledge of galactic civilization with human students. They described worlds Earth had never heard of, civilizations with customs humanity struggled to understand, dangers lurking in the spaces between stars. Their lessons prepared Earth for a galaxy far stranger and more dangerous than most humans had imagined. 1 year after the Armada's destruction, Ambassador Cole stood before the United Nations General Assembly. The chamber held not just human representatives, but delegates from 12 alien civilizations. The scene would have been unimaginable 2 years earlier, when Earth still hid its capabilities from the galaxy. The Republic delegation occupied the seats to Cole's left. Their ambassador, a being named Threll who communicated through color-changing skin patterns, had become a personal friend. The Republic appreciated Earth's defensive philosophy. Unlike the Dominion, humanity had demonstrated that strength did not require conquest. Trade Confederation merchants filled the right side of the chamber. They had negotiated 17 commercial agreements in the past 6 months. Earth's basic technology, even without the ancient weapon systems, proved valuable in galactic markets. Human engineering approaches differed from galactic standard methods, offering fresh solutions to old problems. The former Krill pirates sat in the observation gallery. 73 had chosen to remain on Earth permanently, accepting citizenship in exchange for cultural education services. They had proven invaluable in helping humanity navigate galactic social customs. Their presence demonstrated Earth's willingness to offer second chances even to former enemies. Cole began his address by acknowledging the journey humanity had taken. 1 year ago, Earth faced extinction at the hands of a conquest fleet. The planet had survived through preparation, courage, and technology gifted by a civilization that had perished millions of years before humanity existed. Now Earth stood ready to honor that gift by using it wisely. He announced Earth's founding principle for galactic engagement: defense through strength, peace through wisdom. The planet would maintain military capabilities sufficient to discourage aggression. Simultaneously, Earth would pursue diplomatic relationships based on mutual respect and benefit. Force was always the last option, never the first. The announcement that generated the strongest response came next. Earth would form a mutual defense coalition with any civilization threatened by aggressive expansion. The planet could not protect the entire galaxy, but it could help those willing to defend themselves. Earth's exotic matter technology would remain classified, but human engineering assistance and strategic support would be available to coalition members. 5 civilizations immediately requested membership. The Republic endorsed the coalition publicly. Even the Trade Confederation, normally neutral in military matters, expressed interest in economic partnership with coalition members. The balance of power in a significant portion of the galaxy shifted in a single afternoon. The Dominion responded to these developments with predictable outrage. High Counselor Draven issued official condemnations of Earth's interference in galactic affairs. He accused humanity of disturbing the natural order through which strong civilizations guided weak ones. The Empire would not tolerate such disruption indefinitely. Commander Sillies sent a private warning through his encrypted channel with Earth. Draven was preparing a formal response to the coalition. Not a military assault, but a political campaign to isolate Earth diplomatically. The Dominion would pressure neutral civilizations to reject human overtures, threaten trade partners with economic consequences, and attempt to paint Earth as dangerous upstarts threatening galactic stability. Earth anticipated such moves. Dr. Foster led a team focused on public diplomacy. They released carefully curated information about the ancient probe's technology, demonstrating its defensive nature. Human scientists published papers on exotic matter physics, sharing theoretical knowledge while protecting practical applications. The strategy aimed to position Earth as a scientific contributor rather than a military threat. General O'Brien focused on more practical concerns. The Space Force now operated 15 warships of human design and maintained constant patrols of Earth's solar system. Training facilities on the Moon and Mars produced new crews quarterly. The defensive network that had destroyed the Armada remained Earth's ultimate protection, but mobile forces extended humanity's reach beyond its home star. Installation 7 beneath the Pacific had become headquarters for an expanded research program. Director Liu Wei oversaw projects pushing the boundaries of the ancient technology. One team worked on faster-than-light communication systems. Another developed shields that could protect entire planets. A third explored the possibility of peaceful applications for quantum disruption technology. The most controversial project involved analyzing the probe's database for information about its creators. The ancient civilization had called themselves the Guardians. They had existed 3 million years before humanity evolved, spreading across thousands of star systems. Their extinction remained mysterious, but evidence suggested they had been destroyed by something they had created but failed to control. This discovery generated fierce debate on Earth. If the Guardians, with all their advanced technology, could be destroyed by their own creations, what did that imply for humanity's future? Some argued for extreme caution in developing new weapons. Others insisted the lesson was to remain vigilant against all threats, internal and external. Ambassador Cole believed the truth lay between extremes. Technology was neither good nor evil but neutral, its morality determined by those who wielded it. The Guardians had given humanity tools for survival. How Earth used those tools would define what kind of civilization humanity would become. 6 months after the Coalition's formation, the first joint operation tested Earth's commitment. A Dominion fleet approached a Republic world on the Coalition's border. The world had no significant military, making it an easy target for intimidation. The Republic requested Earth's assistance in demonstrating that Coalition membership had consequences for aggressors. 2 Earth warships arrived in the system before the Dominion fleet. They made no threats, fired no weapons, simply positioned themselves in orbit around the threatened world. The message was clear: attacking this planet meant fighting Earth. The Dominion fleet observed for 3 days, then withdrew without engaging. The Coalition's credibility was established. Similar incidents occurred over the following months. Each time, Earth's presence prevented violence through deterrence rather than combat. The reputation built by destroying the Armada made actual fighting unnecessary. Potential aggressors remembered 300 vanished ships and chose discretion over glory. 1 year became 2. Earth's integration into galactic civilization progressed steadily. Human merchants traded across dozens of star systems. Human scientists collaborated with alien researchers. Human diplomats negotiated agreements that benefited multiple civilizations. The planet that had nearly been conquered became a stabilizing force in its region of the galaxy. Ambassador Cole reflected on these achievements during quiet moments. Earth had been given an extraordinary gift by the Guardians. That gift had saved humanity from extinction twice. Now Earth was using it to protect others, creating the kind of galaxy the Guardians had perhaps hoped to build before their mysterious end. The future remained uncertain. The Dominion would not accept the new balance of power indefinitely. Other threats